Kara Lawson, preparing for today's game. She got tapped on the shoulder. Tap, tap, tap. She looked behind her, and there she was, staring at Kara Lawson. Stephanie White. And you know what Stephanie White said? Slow it down, coach. Slow it down. You see all the publicity Caitlin Clark's getting today? Did you see the news? Everybody's talking about Caitlin Clark. We can't have that.
Caitlin Clark just exploded in her Team USA debut. 17 points, 12 assists, 4 threes, and somehow, we are still asking the same question. Could Team USA bench Caitlin Clark for a third straight game? Because at this point, that is no longer just a small lineup decision. It is becoming the story.
Team USA, they have to learn how to not play down to the competition. And one thing that Puerto Rico did well is they were just super scrappy and super aggressive, and they definitely mucked up the game. But skill-wise and team-wise, they are not a better team by far. But the biggest thing that I noticed from this Team USA team tonight was they weren't moving the ball as well as they did versus Senegal. They weren't sharing the ball as well as they did versus Senegal. It didn't seem like, I don't know. This might be looking into it too much. Like the vibes even seemed a little off.
And before we go any further, I want to ask you something. Should Caitlin Clark start against Italy? Yes or no? Drop your answer in the comments. Because after the first 2 games of this tournament, the debate is getting louder, not quieter. Now here is why this matters. Team USA opened this qualifying tournament in San Juan against Senegal. That was Caitlin Clark's long-awaited senior national team debut. And she was brilliant. 17 points, 12 assists, 19 minutes. The offense looked faster the moment she came in. The floor opened up, the passing got sharper, and suddenly it felt like Caitlin Clark was doing exactly what so many people expected her to do in a USA jersey, take over. But there was one detail that stood out before any of that happened. She did not start. She came off the bench. At the time, a lot of fans gave Team USA the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they were easing her back in. Maybe they were managing her workload. Maybe they just wanted to give the veterans the first run. Fine. That explanation made sense for one game. Then came Puerto Rico. And once again, Caitlin Clark did not start. For the second straight game, she was on the bench while the opening lineup went another direction.
I'm not even going to look at this box score. I'm not even going to look at the scores of this game and say that anybody played overly well. Paige definitely had the best game of the night, and she even passed up shots. But I don't know if it was the lineups. And Coach Kara Lawson continues to change the lineups for this game. I don't understand though. And again, this topic that I'm about to bring up is not the end of the world. It truly isn't. But when you had Caitlin Clark and Ryan Howard clearly be the 2 best players on the floor and have the best games last night in that game versus Senegal, why are both of them still coming off of the bench?
Now, yes, Team USA still won comfortably. And yes, Clark still had her moments. She had the coast-to-coast and won. She hit the deep 3. The defense still had to respect her range the second she crossed half court. But the bigger story after the game was not just what Clark did. It was what Team USA did not do. They still did not put her in the starting lineup. And that is why the Italy game matters so much. Because now we are no longer talking about one random decision. We are talking about a pattern.
Now, Angel Reese started in the first game and Paige Beckers started in this game. I don't understand why Caitlin Clark is still coming off the bench. And I get it. It's not, I'm gonna reiterate this. It's not that big of a deal that she's not starting. But I do think she deserves to start. I think it's a bit of a missed opportunity. I do think when you're coming off of a game where she played the way that she did, where she was clearly the best player on the court, she earned her start, and it's like you could have started the second unit. And Ryan Howard is also in the unit that Caitlin Clark was playing in during this game.
If Caitlin Clark comes off the bench again against Italy, that is 3 straight games. And once you get to 3, it stops feeling temporary. It starts feeling intentional. That is when fans stop saying, maybe this is just caution, and start saying, wait a second, is this actually the plan?
It does sound like she's refusing to answer questions about the starting lineup. Because at the end, she said, well, everybody's playing a different role and they're the number one. I don't want to hear none of that. Why is Kelsey Gray starting 2 games in a row and we have seen no production out of Kelsey Gray yet? None. Why is she starting 2 games in a row? Why come you took the ball out of Caitlin Clark's hands? Because to me, from the outside looking in, and I just hate to even put this narrative out there, what I seen today looks very similar to what the Indiana Fever run with Stephanie White. Is Stephanie White subliminally sabotaging her own damn player?
Now, to be fair, Team USA does have reasons they can point to. Clark is coming back after a long injury layoff. She has been out for months, so if the coaching staff wants to manage her minutes carefully, that is understandable. There is also the fact that Team USA has already qualified. These games are not elimination games. They do not need to force anything right now. They can experiment. They can test lineups. They can see what different combinations look like. And on paper, all of that sounds reasonable. But here is where it gets complicated. If the idea is to ease Caitlin Clark in slowly, then why does the offense still seem to change the moment she enters the game? Why does the spacing look different? Why does the pace feel different? Why does everything suddenly feel more dangerous? That is the part people cannot ignore. Because this is not a case where Clark looks overwhelmed. It is not a case where she looks out of place. It is not a case where she clearly needs more time before handling a major role. If anything, the opposite has happened. She has looked comfortable. She has looked dangerous. And she has already shown that she can run the offense at this level. Which brings us to another important part of this story. Paige Buchers and Angel Reese both had bigger headline performances in the Puerto Rico game. Paige had the stronger scoring night. Angel Reese put up a double-double, and that matters. Not because it proves Clark should be on the bench, but because it gives Team USA more cover to keep doing what it is doing.
Yeah, guys, I don't think I can sugarcoat this. That game was very difficult to watch. They looked so lost out there, especially, well, actually pretty much everybody except for Kelsey Plum. She did a decent job. Paige Becker's by far the best player. Angel Reese crashed the heck out of that glass. But for some reason, Angel, she just kept looking off Caitlin Clark in moments where you get your ball to PG1 to take the ball up. And there were multiple moments. But, you know, I can't say that Caitlin Clark had a great game either. I mean, she didn't have a terrible game. She just did not have a game like yesterday.
That is what makes this situation more complicated. If other stars are producing too, then the coaching staff can point to that and say everything is working. They can say the team is deep. They can say multiple players are contributing. They can say there is no reason to rush anything. And from the outside, that makes Clark's bench role easier to justify. But that still does not fully answer the real question, because fans are not just watching box scores. They are watching roles. They are watching who gets trusted early. They are watching who gets handed the keys. And right now, even after one explosive debut and one more strong showing off the bench, Caitlin Clark still has not been handed that starting role. So what exactly are we looking at here? Is Team USA protecting Caitlin Clark? Is this just smart management? Or is this something bigger? Is Team USA still trying to control how much power she has in this group? Because that is what this debate is turning into. Not just whether she starts, but what it means that she still does not. And that is why the Italy game feels different. It is not just another qualifier. It is not just another game Team USA is expected to win. It is a test of what the coaching staff really thinks. Because if Clark comes off the bench again, fans are going to read that as a message. A very clear one, that no matter how explosive she looks, no matter how much attention she gets, no matter how much the offense opens up when she enters, Team USA still is not ready to build the opening group around her. And if that happens, the reaction is going to be loud. Because at that point, people will start asking a bigger question. If 17 points and 12 assists in your debut was not enough, what exactly is enough? What more does Caitlin Clark have to do to start for Team USA? So now the question is simple. Should Caitlin Clark start against Italy? Yes or no? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you are still watching, drop Start CC in the comments so I know you made it all the way through. Because if Caitlin Clark gets benched again, this story is only getting bigger.
As Team USA comes back the other way, looking to punish, Caitlin Clark pulls up from deep. And those are the Caitlin Clark logo threes we're used to seeing.
Caitlin Clark just did something that surprised a lot of people. She came off the bench again for the second straight game after exploding in her Team USA debut with 17 points and 12 assists. Caitlin Clark was not in the starting lineup against Puerto Rico again. And that decision is starting to get people talking because after the first game, a lot of fans assumed the bench role was temporary, just easing her back in, just managing minutes, just giving the veterans the first run. But when the starting lineup was announced for the Puerto Rico game, Clark's name still wasn't in it. Paige Bueckers started, Chelsea Gray started, Kelsey Plum started, Kiki Iriafen started, Monique Billings started, but Caitlin Clark still on the bench. And that raises a real question. Is Team USA intentionally holding Clark back right now, or are they setting her up to control the second unit? Before we get into that, I want to ask you something. Should Caitlin Clark be starting for Team USA right now? Drop yes or no in the comments, because the reaction to this decision is getting louder. Now here's what happened in this game. Team USA faced Puerto Rico in San Juan as part of the FIBA Women's World Cup qualifying tournament, and this one was a little different from the Senegal game. Puerto Rico was the host nation, the crowd was behind them, and early in the game, Team USA leaned heavily on the starters. Kelsey Plum got going early. Paige Bueckers started finding her rhythm. Kiki Iriafen was perfect from the field. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark waited, watching from the bench again. Eventually, she checked into the game.
Of course, agendas had to be pushed. Caitlin Clark started the game on her bench. Angel Reese gets the start. Ka Copper, Chelsea Gray, Dearica Hamby. Chelsea Gray. You know what a real vet would do? A real vet would say, you know what? Here's my spot. I ain't competing with that. You know what? We're a better team if you take my spot and I try to fit in where I can get it.
And like the first game, the moment she entered, something interesting happened. The pace changed, the spacing opened up, and the defense had to start paying attention to her range. Clark didn't have the same scoring explosion this time. Her three-point shot took a little longer to fall. At one point, she even jammed her finger after missing a deep three. But then came one of the most interesting plays of the night. Clark jumped a passing lane, intercepted the ball, and went coast to coast. Layup and one.
Turn the corner. Brianna Jones. Caitlin Clark gets in the passing lane, goes coast to coast for the and one opportunity. Makes the layup off the glass. She asked her teammates, did that go in? And now she gets a chance at the foul line. She wanted the intentional. I think she got hit in the head there, but let's take another look. Caitlin Clark jumps the passing lane.
After the play, cameras caught her looking surprised and saying something that actually made a lot of fans laugh. She looked up and asked, "Did that go in?" That moment summed up the night. Clark didn't dominate the box score like the first game, but she still found ways to impact the game. Later in the third quarter, she pulled up from way beyond the three-point line. Logo range, nothing but net.
As Team USA comes back the other way, looking to punish, Caitlin Clark pulls up from deep. And those are the Caitlin Clark logo threes we're used to seeing when she's in rhythm.
The kind of shot that makes every defense panic the moment she crosses half court. By the time the game reached the fourth quarter, Team USA had full control. The Americans cruised to a comfortable win. Paige Bueckers finished with 16 points. Kelsey Plum added 12. Angel Reese recorded her first Team USA double-double with 10 points and 13 rebounds. But once again, one of the biggest talking points after the game wasn't the final score. It was Caitlin Clark's role, because she still didn't start, and now it has happened in both games of this tournament. So what exactly is going on? There are a few possible explanations. The first one is simple. Coach Carol Lawson may just be experimenting. Remember, Team USA has already qualified for the 2026 World Cup. These games are more about chemistry and lineup combinations than must-win results. Another possibility is minutes management. Clark is coming back after missing significant time with injury. The coaching staff might simply be easing her workload back up. But there's also a third possibility that a lot of basketball fans understand immediately. Sometimes the most dangerous player on the team is the one who comes off the bench. Because when Clark enters the game, she often plays against second units. And when that happens, the offense can explode. That's exactly what happened in the first game. And it's something Team USA may be trying to replicate. Still, the conversation isn't going away, because Caitlin Clark isn't just another player. She's one of the most impactful offensive creators in the sport. And when fans see her producing at that level, they naturally start asking questions. Should she be starting? Or is this bench role actually the smartest move for Team USA right now? Let me know what you think. Should Caitlin Clark be in the starting lineup? Or do you like the idea of her coming off the bench and controlling the game that way? Drop yes or no in the comments. And if you're still watching, drop Clark off the bench in the comments so I know you made it all the way through, because this story isn't over yet. Team USA still has more games in this tournament, and the big question is still hanging out there. Will Caitlin Clark stay on the bench, or is a starting spot coming next? Caitlin Clark just exploded in her Team USA debut. 17 points, 12 assists, 4 3-pointers, all in just 19 minutes. But here's the part that surprised everyone. Caitlin Clark didn't start the game, she came off the bench. And before we even go further, I want to ask you something. Should Caitlin Clark be starting for Team USA? Drop your answer in the comments right now, yes or no. Because after what just happened in this game, that debate is about to get loud. Now here's how this whole thing unfolded. Team USA opened the FIBA Women's World Cup qualifying tournament in San Juan, Puerto Rico against Senegal. The United States entered the game ranked number 1 in the world. Senegal came in ranked 25. But even with that gap, the biggest storyline before the game wasn't the rankings. It was Caitlin Clark making her first appearance with the senior Team USA squad. This was Clark's long-awaited debut with the national team, and it came after an injury-affected WNBA season where she played only 13 games. When the starting lineup was announced, fans immediately noticed something. Clark wasn't in it. Team USA started Kalia Copper, Chelsea Gray, Darica Hamby, Angel Reese, and Jackie Young. Clark began the game on the bench, and that decision instantly caught people's attention, because this isn't just any player. This is Caitlin Clark, one of the most talked about players in the entire sport. But halfway through the first quarter, Clark checked into the game, and the moment she stepped onto the floor, everything changed. Within minutes, she had already scored 5 points. She delivered 4 assists, and Team USA's offense suddenly looked faster and more dangerous.
Just under a minute and a half left to go in the first. Billings up to Clark. Clark takes her first shot, and it's a 3, and it is good. Caitlin Clark on the move, over to Billings. Billings on the left-hand side, off the glass.
By the end of the first quarter, the Americans already had a 17-point lead. Senegal struggled to find any rhythm. Team USA's defense was forcing turnovers and shutting down nearly every good look. The second quarter only widened the gap. At halftime, the score was 59-19. The United States was shooting 70% from the field, 71% from 3. And right in the middle of that dominance was Caitlin Clark. 8 points, 8 assists, already on double-double watch in her very first Team USA game. The second half didn't slow down either. Clark continued orchestrating the offense. She kept finding open shooters, and every time she pulled up from deep, the defense had to respect it. By the end of the third quarter, the score was 82-36. Clark already had 12 assists. Meanwhile, frustration was boiling over for Senegal. Their head coach, Cheikh Sarr, was ejected after receiving back-to-back technical fouls.
Ivan, you can see how she has a little bit of a tough time getting that one done. There's a technical foul called on Coach Sarr, the head coach of Senegal, upset, I think, with the no call there, and he gets his first technical of the game. And his second technical of the game.
Nothing seemed to slow Team USA down. Their defense forced 20 turnovers. Their offense couldn't miss. By the final whistle, the scoreboard told the whole story. Team USA 110, Senegal 46, a 64-point victory to open the tournament. Clark finished with 17 points and 12 assists in just 19 minutes. Every field goal she made came from beyond the three-point line. 4 for 5 from deep.
Paige finds herself down low, kicks it out to Caitlin Clark. Clark puts it up and nothing but net.
She also went a perfect 5 for 5 from the free throw line, her first international double-double. and it came in her very first game with the senior national team. Atlanta Dream guard Ryan Howard led all scorers with 21 points. Angel Reese added 6 points and 8 rebounds. But the biggest story of the night wasn't just the final score, it was what happened when Caitlin Clark stepped on the floor, because the offense instantly looked different. Faster, more spaced, more explosive. Which brings us back to the question that started before the game even tipped off. Why isn't Caitlin Clark starting for Team USA? Maybe the coaching staff is managing her minutes after injuries. Maybe they want to ease her back into full competition. Or maybe they're simply experimenting with different lineups during these qualifiers. But when a player can produce 17 points and 12 assists in less than 20 minutes, it's hard not to notice. So now the conversation begins. Should Caitlin Clark be starting for Team USA? Or do you think bringing her off the bench is the right move right now? Let me know in the comments. And if you're still watching, drop Clark17 in the comments so I know you made it all the way through. But seriously, should Caitlin Clark be starting for Team USA? Or is the bench role the right decision for now?